here at the FPD studio doing just going to go over basic trim, doing a trim on a horse, and just what we do every day, what I do every day with my guys. And I'm going to treat this like he's a new horse. I've actually never seen this horse before, so today was the first time I've seen him. It looks like, just from an initial view, it looks like he has some very nice feet. Good one for a demonstration. And when I get to a horse for the first time, I like to just have a look at him, see how he stands, look at his feet, look how if he's shifting weight, tells me if he's uncomfortable somewhere, and just very casually walk around him. And then I'll talk to the owner, and things I like to know is what is he used for, and what does he do as a hobby.
Mostly eats grass.
Eats grass. So
he does a little like pleasure riding around the farm, but
so
not a lot.
With that kind of information, it tells me how aggressive I can be with the trim or not be aggressive. Leave extra foot if the horse has been ridden and they want to keep him barefoot. And does he have any pre-existing conditions or problems I should know about in relation to his feet? You told me he was blind in his right eye, but anything?
No, feet are fine. He's a little bit stiff, especially in the stifle and in the shoulder when you pull his fronts forward. But
okay, so pretty basic. So it's always good to know the history, especially when you're walking into a new situation. You don't want to be caught out on anything. So, and then I like to assess just the basic balance, the conformation, looking at him from the front. You know, he wants to turn in a little bit. He's an older horse, so we're not going to try and change any of that. I just want to maintain a good hoof underneath his bony column. I like to look at his Conrad band, see if there's any areas that are showing me distress or jamming up, meaning it's pushing up on one side or the other. His feet from here look like one is a little bit bigger than the other, but I think that's just the way he's built. He's always going to have that. It's not a huge change. And I'm not a big fan of trying to make feet match if they just can't. And if I look at him from the top here, I can look at this Conrad band seems to be wider and more round than this one. It's a little narrower. So that just tells me that that's what the foot looks like, and I just have to maintain that. So, and then on his hind feet, I'm looking at the same things, but his hind feet look a little bit more symmetrical. They look a little bit closer to each other. And then I look at AP balance just from the side. It's always nice to be able to see them on a flat surface as we have here. You know, seeing length of toe, where his heels are, have his heels underrun or they migrated, or does he have too much heel, and his pastern angle. So just a bunch of little things. And it's the same as if I'm shoeing a horse. I'm looking at those same things. The only difference is I'm trimming this foot, remembering that I'm not going to put a shoe on him. So I have to remember to leave him as much foot as we can and do the minimal amount necessary, but still keep his foot in good order. So first thing I'm going to do is lift up his feet and just get an idea of how much you have to do. So here we can see right away that he has a nice room of growth. He has a pretty nice little frog. Bars are nice and straight, which shows me that his heels aren't crushing and underrunning. But you can see he turns in from here. If you hold his leg up, everything turns in. And if you go where his frog's pointing, you can see where his area of breakover wants to be more than there. And that's just conformationally based. His heels look nice and square with his bulbs. If you draw, so nothing is, he's not pushing one bulb up more than the other, landing harder on one side than the other. So I'm pretty happy with him. He's good feet, and just want to maintain good feet. I'm not trying to change him, change the way he is, because he's set. He's looks comfortable, looks happy. The last thing I want to do is try and change everything and create an unhappy horse. Here we go. First thing I always try and do on all my trims, shoeing or trimming, is get the frog trimmed up and balance the frog. With a frog nice and balanced, I can balance my foot around that. Easy, buddy, I'm sorry. So I just want to clean out a little bit of sole, my bars here, and just clean this up, seeing how much I have to take off there. So the sole is very precious to me. The more sole I can leave, the better I'm off. So I'm just going to take a little bit of extra growth off. A little bit of heel back. Okay. Give him a break. Where I was with my nipping. Okay. Just trying to get a nice flat surface. Now I'm just going to go into shaping the foot. Putting a good pasture roll on this. He wants to flare a little bit here, because if he turns in, so and I remember he broke over here, so I just want to roll this area just a little bit easier for him, because that's where he naturally wanted to break over. Take off any sharp edges. Feel it with your hand. Now I'm just going to graduate the bars in. No sole pressure. Always pull all my feet forward. If I have a little bit of flaring or dishing, I will do that. And do a minimal amount of dressing. I'm just trying to leave as much foot as I can. A nice big pasture roll, especially in the summer when they're stomping for flies. That edge really helps keep the foot in better shape over a longer period. And I'm pretty happy with that. It came out really nice shape. It matches a Conrad band and a good pasture roll. And you can see the guy that trimmed them before put a really good pasture roll on it, and it's one of the reasons they stayed in good shape. Okay, now we're just going to go to the other front foot and just go through the same procedure and just try and do what's right for this foot. I trim each foot according to what that foot needs. As I said earlier, I don't need to match them. If we look at this foot, it is a little bit more symmetrical. Doesn't turn in as much, but the growth is very good. He has good wear. So just going to do very similar as I did on the other foot and trim it accordingly. Easy, buddy. I'll get you lower. Make sure there are no rocks in there. They're good for messing up a sharp knife. I always like to leave myself a little bit of room to rasp, be able to fix any mistakes I make with my nippers. There we go. looking down the coronary band, just seeing as a projection of the hoof. That's what's going to tell me the shape. I should make this hoof. And aesthetically, I want my feet to be dressed the same, so they look the same for the client. And if I dress one foot really high, I'll dress the other foot the same height. And I don't think it really matters, except for me it just looks the same, and it looks like I care. And that's important, I think, to the clients, that they see that you take pride in your work. To the hind feet, and I'm doing exactly the same type of trimming as I did on the fronts, just going to be on the hind foot. So lift them up, cradle them up, and start. I have the same system on every foot, and it's just having a system really helps your efficiency when you're working on trimming or anything. Okay, I don't have to take any sole out here because he's already washed out a little bit. Here in Kentucky, the water takes care of that for us. So I'm just gonna nip it. See how the FootPro nippers do through these rocks, which is pretty good. And a little bit less on this outside. He was a little high immediately. Now he has quite a lot of wall out here, and to help me out, I'm going to take my nippers and go to 45 and nip that wall off that I'm going to rasp off. That just saves me some rasping, and it's a little bit quicker, especially with an older horse that's a little stiff. Just save you a little bit of time. So rasp it level. And then I'm just going to sculpt my foot to the same shape as the sole to white line junction, which is as close as I can get. This foot has to be the shape of, because the sole is a projection of the coffin bone, and if you look at it, it'll be very similar to the coronary band. So you have a guide on the top of the foot and a guide on the bottom of the foot telling you shape. So I just round up all these edges so everything's nice and smooth. Clean the bars up. Seat a corn. Make sure there's no sole pressure. No rock stuck anywhere. Check for medial lateral balance and flat. Let it line one little spot. Round these edges up really nicely. Nothing sharp to my hands. Okay, so I'm going to go over some of the parts of why I do what I do in the back half of the foot, like the bars here. The bars are an extension of the hoof wall, and in my opinion they help keep the heels from running forward and keep the heels open. So when I trim the foot, the bars to me should be as straight as possible, meaning that the heels are being brought back. I like to graduate my bars in round about the bridge of the foot, which is right through here, and I like a distinction between the wall, then the bar is a little lower so it's not constantly weight bearing, and then the sole being a little lower than that, cleaning out the cedar corn, and defines my bar. I can see where they are, And I just feel like I don't get any bar cracks, or try and reduce the bar cracks by bringing my heels back. When my bars start to get a bend in them, the heels are normally very underrun. This horse has really nice bars in him. They're nice and straight, shows me that they're functioning really well. His frog is nice and wide. Everything in there is really good. And in the front of the sole, I just made sure I had no sole pressure, so he was definitely weight bearing on his wall all the way around and not primarily on his sole and the toe.